So, my story starts in November 2022. ChatGPT is released. Technology trigger. First thing that happens is we all get really excited. We now have a generative AI bot that can write words for us. Everybody loves it. But then a few months later, teachers start to go back to the classroom. And by the middle of 2023, we have a situation like this, where a teacher asks their students to write a poem. 50% of those students use something like ChatGPT to write it, but they don't tell the teacher that they've written it. And let's be clear, the students are not doing this to be malicious. The students are doing it because they think that it's helpful, that it helps them be creative, helps them do something, right? Helps them start something. But the teacher doesn't have the ability to mark it. They don't know what was written by ChatGPT and what wasn't. So we've got confusion, we've got difficulty, we've got people getting confused as to what is actually happening. And I'm not surprised by this because tools like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, they're all free, right? They're all tools that we can use. They're very accessible to us. But as we know, teachers are short of time. They lack training, they lack support. And so by middle of 2023, we've gone from our technology trigger through our peak of inflated expectations, and our teachers have fallen into what Gartner calls the trough of disillusionment. Weren't sure what this tool could or could not be used for, and didn't have any guidance to actually use this tool. And in that situation, misuse and disengagement just grow. And that's a shame because it can be really useful. It's really good for personalisation. It gives our students a voice. And as I said to you, it lets them be creative. That's not to say that there aren't issues with plagiarism and inequality and misinformation. But ultimately what we just need to do is provide them with some ethical guidelines. How do you use it so that they can use it effectively? And this is the teachers, and then by the teachers, our students as well. Or to put it another way, are we going to eliminate? Are we going to embrace the tool? Or are we going to fit somewhere in the middle here? And you can probably work out where I think we should sit. And this is where I come in. This is my research, right? I'm a technology-enhanced learning researcher. I've worked with XR and various other tools over the years. So when ChatGPT comes out, I see it as a great test case. Gen AI is a technology that we can use in the classroom, and we can apply that technology and teach teachers how to use that technology, build confidence and skills, and work directly in the classroom with our students. So how do we do that? Well, we work directly across various different contexts, and we teach people what this tool is actually doing using classroom use cases. And that often involves building some sort of intervention strategy. It might be interventions in English, it might be interventions in math, it might be interventions in something we do here at RMIT. And the idea is that we end up with AI literacy for pre- and in-service teachers. But throughout that all, we always need to make sure that we're taking a pedagogy-first approach, because I always say pedagogy comes before technology. So let me give you a case study of a study that we actually did. And this study here investigated whether or not AI can make you less lonely. And we interviewed a whole bunch of people and we said, do you like to talk to generative AI? And most of them said, yes, we do. We enjoy talking to generative AI, but it doesn't make us feel like we belong, because it doesn't push back on the things that we say. It doesn't say that it's a Collingwood supporter when they're a Carlton supporter. We don't get that kind of argument. And that's really useful information for us, because then it helps us teach our teachers and build frameworks and models that help us understand how those tools can be used. And the end result is that we end up with teachers that have great agency and skill. We end up with students that are able to have a creative, ethical use of the tools. We end up with schools that innovate with good support, and then ultimately we end up with a society that is AI literate. And again, what I'm talking about here is teaching the teachers so that those teachers can teach our students. So teachers gain clarity and confidence, students engage ethically and creatively, and systems, they avoid panic-driven bans. And so let's return to our scenario, right? Our teacher is now asking our students to write the poem, right? They're standing in the classroom, but they've guided the students on what ChatGPT and these generative AI tools are good for. And they've taught our students that it's okay to attribute these tools and to tell us that this tool is something that they've used. And so our students can use those tools effectively through prompt engineering. They'll tell us when they're using them, and the teacher, when they get the assignment, gets the opportunity to mark it effectively and efficiently based on knowing where generative AI has been used. Or, to summarise, we don't ban the tech, we end up teaching with it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.